Take 25. Okay, in 3, 2, 1. What's good? It's your girl Bianca, and welcome back to yet another episode of Are You Alone? But what I'm actually asking you is, are you achieving life on natural euphoria? So I hope you all liked last week's episode and that you got a chance to get to know me a little bit better. I did answer some questions about myself a little bit, but some questions for me especially. And it was also my first video episode, so it is out on YouTube for those of you who are listening. Make sure to go check it out, and if you are watching, make sure to go like, follow, and subscribe, as well as turn on those post notifications. I do want to give a special shout out to my 3 subscribers. Shout out to you. I still have to figure out how to check who they are, but you know, if you know that you're subscribed to my channel, then mad love, thank you so much. But anyways, just thank you guys in general for your love, your support, and your belief in me with this journey. Today's episode is going to be a little bit different than most. I had a plan. I had a whole different episode planned for today. I was going to have a guest on today's episode. However, if you are watching, then you can see that the chair is empty. Normally I would just introduce and then they would come on, but who I originally had planned for today to be on the episode, things just came up. Life can get messy and it can get complicated at any moment in time. So for me, I think the biggest thing about it is I personally, especially the relationship that I have with this individual, what is more important to me is their health, whether it's their mental health, their physical health, their emotional state of mind. I think that's the biggest thing that matters to me, is just their overall well-being. And with life being just unpredictable, shit happens, and you kind of just figure things out and you go with the flow and you make things work. That's part of embracing the unexpected, which I know I had talked about last week, which did also involve the main theme of it, which is just being transparent. And so if you have yet to go listen to that one, I highly recommend to go check it out. It was my first one, so make sure to give me some feedback on it. But like I said, miss me with that negativity. I just don't have the energy to deal with that. But yeah, last week I had talked about transparency, and I really just had elaborated on the fact of how it allows us to have open lines of communication with one another. And with these open lines of communication, it does allow us to kind of understand or have at least an insight as far as someone's intentions and the relationship that they may be trying to build with us. But it also requires us to hold ourselves accountable, and when we're able to do that, we can really hold other people accountable as well. And it can also provide progressive change, not only within ourselves and our personal relationships, but it can also involve change on a much larger and grander scale. So once again, if you have yet to go listen to that or watch it, I will link it all in the description box down below if you are watching it on YouTube. However, you can find it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Anchor, and many more. But getting back to embracing the unexpected, I knew I had to make this video sooner rather than later, just because I do have some news that I am very actually excited to share with you guys. A little bit sad just because it also involves putting a hold on the podcast. So I will get into that story a little bit later. But since I'm kind of working with the unfortunate events and the changes that happened for today's episode, I'm kind of just like winging this, and there's really like not a real structure as far as today's episode. But I mean, that's all a part of embracing the unexpected. So I'm kind of just going to get into the story with what's going to happen, I guess, moving forward in the next couple of weeks. If you have listened to my previous episodes or you just know me personally, then many of you know that I have played soccer for a very, very long time. I played all the way up until my senior season of college. And after that, I was like, all right, we're retired. I was at peace with it because especially for a really long time, I wanted to become a professional soccer player. And, I started to realize that wasn't going to happen. It's very hard. It's a lot of hard work that it involves. And there's also a little bit of politics that goes into it, a little bit behind the scenes type of stuff. But I started to recognize maybe this isn't the path that's really meant for me. And so I know in a previous episode I had talked about how I started to branch out of my soccer mindset and kind of understand myself outside of just being an athlete. And so we're kind of coming back to that topic because I had received some news this past week. I had a friend of mine, a very good friend of mine, someone I have actually talked about in a previous episode, but a friend of mine had reached out to me and had asked me if I wanted to go play overseas. And for me, I was kind of hesitant because I was slowly starting to get things moving forward with the podcast. I incorporated videoing and I obviously had built this set. So for me, I was like, there's a lot of hard work that had just went into this for me to kind of just up and leave it. And so for me, it was just kind of like, yeah, sure. Like, why not? Let's just see where things go. It wouldn't hurt. Just let them know I'm interested. But I didn't take it very serious just because in my head, I didn't think anything was actually going to happen. And so my friend's agent who works with her had called me and he had asked me if I was interested in playing. And I said, I'm the type of person who likes to take advantage of any opportunity that comes my way. And so, then he continued to ask me about myself as like a person and as a player and like what position I play and all of that. So after that conversation, I didn't hear from him for a while. So I was like, all right, yeah, see, like this probably isn't going to work out, which is okay because, I'm really invested in progressing with my podcast. And then I got a call from him while I was watching my niece and nephew, and he had told me that he has an offer for me in Albania to go play for 6 months. And when I heard that, I will be honest, there was a lot of initial fear that had struck me. And the reason I say like fear is because it was becoming real that I could go overseas to a foreign country and I can go and actually play soccer professionally. And I think the fear also came from the fact that a part of me didn't necessarily know what was going to happen with my podcast. I thought that with me moving there, I'd have to choose, the podcast or to go play soccer. And so I started weighing out the pros and cons of what would happen if I did go overseas, like what would happen. And, there wasn't many cons, like I'll be honest. I think the only one is that it is a foreign country. It is a new place. I'm not trying to pin like any European countries, like the movie Taken, but things like that happen everywhere. And I'm not just saying like in like Europe, it happens everywhere, and it's an actual like issue that we all have to be cautious and we all obviously have to be aware of. And so that was on the back of my mind while going to play. Well, obviously the intentions with this agent, I don't think he would place me in a place that he didn't necessarily feel comfortable, because this is a part of his job and he has to do this all the time. So I really doubt that was gonna be what happens, but you never know, so you have to be cautious at all times. So I think that was the only con, but the pro side of it was my flight was getting paid for, my housing was getting paid for, I'd be there just for 6 months, I'd be getting paid while playing over there, and I might ignite my passion for soccer again. And the thing about me is I was like I had said, I was at peace with not playing anymore. I think it was at the point where I realized the validation of myself as a player was never needed from a coach, from other players. It was really needed from me. And I think once I was able to find that validation within myself as a player, that's where I came to peace with all of it. And I was like, look, you've had a good run, like you've accomplished a lot of things with this, and you know, you are enough, like you can play the sport. So, and I've been blessed to, you know, not have any injuries, knock on wood. But I haven't had any injuries, so I've been very blessed with this sport, and I think it has taught me a lot of lessons. So that's why I was at peace with it, and that's why I was ready to move forward with my life and continue doing this podcast. Now, for me, since I started to understand myself a little bit more outside of just being a soccer player, I really recognized that one thing I really want to do in this life of mine is to help people. And so when I was younger, I wanted to be a professional soccer player because I knew it was going to give me a platform to reach out to younger athletes, especially younger soccer players. And then I realized, like, I kind of want to have a platform that reaches out to more than just soccer players. Just, I want to have a platform that reaches out to younger people in general. So that's why I also pursued a business degree, because I wanted to open my own sports facility for young athletes, especially those who don't have, I guess, like the resources or the means, but definitely have the talent to go play at these big schools. And so that's why I pursued a business degree. And then, I was like, I kind of want to help more than just athletes, especially young athletes. I want to help the youth in general. And I think that's where the foundation of this podcast came from. And I know a lot of my listeners are really people like my age and a little bit older, but I think if we can even create that environment for the youth, then obviously, hopefully they take what they learn from us and, continue to pass it down. And, for me, it's just about creating that environment of understanding an individual's worth. So embracing your individuality and understanding that you bring these unique, beautiful, wonderful qualities about yourself to the world, and that your story is always and ultimately will be your own story. And that's what makes you also that much more unique in this world. But at the same time, with your unique self, there are other people who have that about them. And now it's just about exercising that empathy to even try to understand, why that person is who they are now, or why that person has become the person they are today. And with all of that being said, that's when I started to recognize that, maybe for me, soccer wasn't my only way to have a platform. I can create a platform for myself, which I am doing right now with this podcast. However, I now have the opportunity to expand my platform being an international soccer player. And so just to continue on with that story, I was very hesitant. Like I had said, there was the initial fear of what to do, what's going to happen, especially because they wanted me out there in the beginning of February, which is in like 2 weeks. So moving very, very fast. And I knew I had to give him a decision, and I was just really unsure. I didn't know what to do, and my family definitely was just like, whatever you decide to do, we'll 100% support you. So I had got this offer, I think maybe like Wednesday or Thursday, I can't really remember, but it was very close to the weekend. And, I obviously needed to give him an answer soon because they're putting a lot of money into this to a point where it's like, we need to know if you're serious or not. And so I was like, okay, like I'm going to need some time, but I will try and give you an answer like as soon as I can. And then Sunday comes. I'm like trying to push this off a little bit just because I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do. I really was stuck, and I'm asking really like my close friends and my family, like just asking like what they think, I should do. And a lot of them were definitely pushing towards going overseas to go play because it's an opportunity that not many people get to do. And so, I'm at my niece's birthday party. Not trying to think too much about it, but obviously my family's there. They're asking me questions, so it's kind of on the back of my mind. And so I think Saturday I was like, all right, I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna go to Albania for 6 months, and I'm gonna go play. And then, Sunday comes along because I started like laying in my bed thinking about it too. And I'm laying there like doing the math as well. And I'm like, man, like 6 months, that's kind of a while. And, that means I'll be back in August. And I had recently just come home to Washington last August. I came home from college. And so I'm like, man, like I just got here and then I'm leaving again. But either way, I knew, everyone I care about and, my loved ones, they would understand. So then Sunday comes around, and as I'm laying in bed saying like, dang, like 6 months is a while, I get a call from my agent, and I'm thinking he's calling me because he wants an answer. And I was like, oh man, like I don't have an answer for you yet. Like I really don't know. And so I was trying to avoid that and to be honest a little bit. And then he was like, call me, it's important. So I was like, okay, like I have to. So I called him, and he had told me like, hey, I found a different offer for you. It's only for 4 months. It's in Israel, and you'd be getting your housing paid for again, your housing and your plane ticket, and you'd be getting paid a little bit more than where I was gonna go in Albania. So I was like, okay, like this is kind of like everything kind of like meshed together and kind of like worked out. And so with that being said, I have decided to go play in Israel for 4 months. I signed my contract today and had sent it back. So I will be leaving probably sometime next week. And so, like I had said, I knew I had to make this episode or this video because a lot of unexpected things were going to just happen. There was a lot of uncertainty with what I was going to do with the podcast. And, I had thought about it for a while. I'm obviously not going to be in my setup that I had built, which is totally okay. But I had thought about just bringing a really basic setup, which is just my microphone and my laptop. So with that, just basic setup means I'm going to have to put a hold on video recording, which was kind of a bummer because I was really excited to, I guess, have the visualization of having certain conversations. But also at the same time, like I had said earlier, I'm definitely the type of person that likes to take advantage of any opportunity that comes my way. And, I'm also always constantly thinking like about what my purpose is in life. And I think at the same time, to find that, you have to experience things that you're kind of uncomfortable with, or you're unsure about, or hesitant about, because I think that's where the most growth and the most learning comes from. And I think that's something I'm really excited to do, just because I know that being in Israel is going to give me, it's going to add to my perspective on like life and the world. It's going to make it, much more broader. And I'm actually kind of excited just because since I am bringing my setup there, it's exciting just because it's like you guys are now coming along on this journey with me, and I don't have to feel so alone. But a part of me understanding how to achieve my life on Natural Euphoria is by really following things that I feel align with who I am, and that's how I will get to that place of euphoria. And I think for me too, it hasn't really hit that, okay, like you're gonna become a professional soccer player, especially because that's been a goal of mine like my entire life. I actually think you're seeing my reaction right now, because I definitely am the type of person that plays off certain things that I'm excited about, and I think it's just because I want to make sure I'm staying humble too. Like I don't ever want to be cocky or conceited. But But yeah, I'm gonna be going to Israel, and I really want to take you guys along with my journey. And I know it won't be, recorded, but, or at least video recorded, but I hope you guys, are able to follow along and, keep up with this journey. With the uncertainty, which I have a hard time saying, but with all of that, I don't know if I'll be posting as regularly as normal, but I guess you gotta really make sure to turn those post notifications on to know when I post maybe a video. I think I could use my phone, or maybe I'll get like something small, or just I'll just like post just the recording. Like there won't be much of me, but you'll most likely see the cover and then just like hear what I'll be talking about. So I don't really have any of that set in stone, and hopefully you were able to follow along with this story, because like I said earlier, I don't really have a structure to today's episode. This is me embracing parts of the unexpected that's happening, kind of changing my direction again, and going to continue to be a soccer player. However, for me, I think it's going to be a little bit different this time. I think my mindset's in a much more healthier place with the sport than it was before. And I also just understand who I am outside of being an athlete, that, if all else fails, it's just another learning lesson, and it's another way to grow. And I'm really excited to, kind of grow alongside with you guys and like try to learn more about myself. But yeah, that's the news that I have for you guys. And I don't really know what to say anymore, but I do want to thank you all just for your unconditional love and support over this past I started in October, so October, November, December, over these 4 months. I've learned a lot about myself becoming a podcaster. I've YouTubed a lot of things, a lot of tutorials on how to use certain software, on how to, build decently priced setups, cost efficient setups. I've learned a lot these past 4 months of what I'm capable of doing, and this was something that was new for me, and it's something that I don't want to just stop either, because like I had said before, my something that I know kind of aligns with just who I am as a person is how I can help other people. And I think this is obviously a part of it, being able to reach out to others or have others listen in and maybe have some of the things that I talk about relate to them, or having other people's struggles be heard and for them to be able to relate to that. So I guess I'm just at the point right now that we'll just see where things go. I'm also the type of person that kind of just goes with the flow. I know that doesn't work for some people, but I'm definitely like that. I like to compare myself to a river. I just go wherever, or just any type of body of water. I am a water sign, so Scorpio gang, hey. But I am just the type of person just that I go with the flow, and it's wherever, the water takes me, the waves take me, wherever I end up is, where I'm going to be. And, it'll go in and it'll go back out, and then you go other places. So, that was a really weird, comparison, but I do enjoy just being close to the water, which is why I love Washington so much. But at the same time, while I'm in Israel, I will also be 5 minutes from the beach. So that's really exciting. If you guys do want to just follow along with me on Instagram, my personal Instagram is at BiancaK_16. But I'm very, very blessed to be in the position that I am in. A lot of people don't get the chance to do this, and I think that's why I want to take it. I especially don't want to, have regrets not going overseas. But yeah, this is kind of where I'm at with the episode. Hopefully, though, you guys were able to follow along and it made sense. If you do have questions, obviously you can reach out to me. I'm very open to talking about things. I don't want to label myself as just like a soccer player, though. I am just a person at the end of the day. So please feel free to just like talk to me about anything or, reach out. But I just want to once again just thank everyone who's been a part of this journey with the podcast, who's been a part of my life and really have just like supported me through my decisions. And, I am really excited. I understand that there might be some questions. Or there might be some like judgment or just some negativity, just because that kind of just happens in general. But, as long as that's not my focus, which it really won't be, then I think, everything's just going to go smoothly. And, I know I have my people that I can just rely on when I can't rely on myself. So I'm excited. I want to hear back from, your guys' thoughts and what you think about this. But I am very, very blessed to be where I am right now in the seat. I'm trying to embrace really the present moment, and I don't want to think too far into the future, but I knew I had to make this episode, so I think it was just like perfect timing that things kind of fell through in the way that they did. Once again, the person that I was gonna have on my episode today, they mean a whole lot to me, and so their well-being is way, way more important than an episode. So my intention for today's episode was to, I guess, help you guys visualize how I deal with unexpected things. It is kind of messy and it is kind of all over the place, but I'll be honest, my life is not pristine. It's not perfect. There are bumps that happen all the time, obstacles, but I learn how to deal with them, so especially with the help of other people. So hopefully what you guys had gained from this is, I guess, just a better relationship with me and understanding who I am as a person. I don't know, this is probably the most raw and like unfiltered episode that I've had yet. But yeah, that's just me being real with you guys. I hope you guys liked my outfit. It was inspoed by Bring It On, the first one with the clovers and the toros. It was inspired by Gabrielle Union's fit when they went to the toros, football game, and was just like, try to steal a bit, but you look like shit. Something down with it. Yeah. So if you know what I'm talking about, this is my outfit inspo. However, this concludes yet another episode of Are You Alone? I will try to post new episodes every Wednesday. We'll see. I'll keep you guys updated. So make sure to go follow me on my personal Instagram at BiancaK_16. But you can also keep up with Are You Alone on Instagram at AYA_podcast and on the Facebook follow page at Are You Alone. And for those of you who are watching, I know the video recording and all of that stuff is a little hazy right now, but while you're here, might as well go like, follow, and subscribe, and just turn on those post notifications if you want to know what's happening with my journey and where we go forward with this podcast. But other than that, my name is Bianca, and as we continue this journey, all I ask is that you do your best to achieve life on natural euphoria. Bye!